when there's nothing left because you've emptied it all out, you finally arrived at everything. I know it's been a while since I've made a YouTube, and I had an experience several days ago that I wanted to share with all of you. So, I've been going through lots of different challenges and triumphs lately, and basically these different challenges that I've been going through have been kind of stripping down the layers I would call my egoic layers, the layers that I'm really identified with, who I am as Amy in this lifetime. You know, just kind of chipping away at those layers. So, I got taken on a detour up the highway. There's some serious construction going on here in Atlanta, and if you know anything about Atlanta, we don't need any help with making the construction or the highway driving any more difficult than it already is. There's basically always traffic here. So, on this day, I get sent on a detour away from the highway, and I have an experience of, I had the windows down in the car. It was a beautiful day, and I didn't have the music on. I normally have music playing. And I went into a very meditative experience. Actually more meditative than anything I've ever experienced before, being even home alone with the candles lit and the whole 9 yards going here. It was like every sound, everything going on outside of me, the cars from the city honking, people walking by that were walking their dogs, and the broken pieces of conversation that I caught, the sound of the wind rustling through the leaves, birds chirping, people, people next to me maybe have their windows rolled down and their radio is playing. And all of these sounds, normally what would come across as very chaotic, combined into the most beautiful harmonic symphony. And that's what got me at first to take notice, because my auditory became so enhanced. And I realized at that exact moment that my mind was completely empty. I wasn't thinking like I normally would be doing, this traffic is ridiculous, let's get going. I actually made the decision when I took the detour that it was a beautiful day, and I was just going to enjoy the scenery, because I was getting deterred off the highway, which is not always the most beautiful scenery in Atlanta. And so that mindset led me into just relax. And I wasn't thinking. I know we've all had these moments, right? All thought just ceases. And then this auditory magic happens. And that takes me deeper into it, and I get the intuitive pull to consciously avoid thinking of anything during the drive. I was getting actually ready to go to lunch with my ex and our daughter. And usually on a car drive or when I'm doing any activity, I'm always thinking of what I need to do next. I'm thinking about what I need to do tomorrow, maybe next week. And this mental process just kind of keeps looping and going on and on. So during the car drive, I didn't do that, and I found such bliss in the present moment. Here I'd like to add, a few years ago I read a book called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. I'm sure many of you know what I'm speaking of. The book had a profound impact on me because the truth of the message really resonated with me. But it wasn't until a few days ago that bridge of something resonating with me and application was made. You know, the saying, fake it till you make it. It's really hard to fake being in the present moment. You're either there or you aren't. And up until 2 days ago, I have to say that I was attempting to be in my present moment, and many times it would happen spontaneously, but it wasn't long lasting. It was very fleeting. But I really wasn't achieving success with this concept. Even in my most blissful moments, usually I'm planning the next blissful moment, which means I'm not really present. So I, on my way to lunch, made a promise to myself that when I went into the lunch, I was going to interact with my ex-husband and my daughter as if this was my first meeting with them. You know, we go through life taking everything for granted. We go in with a preconceived notion of how people are supposed to be because of the way they were yesterday, and the year before that, the day before that, whatever. And so we're not really interacting with them, we're interacting with a thought pattern of them that we're holding, making it very difficult to see any growth or change in any relationship once it's established. I found during that lunch, I was delighted to discover that it was different. This relationship, this dynamic suddenly felt fresh and new. And as I drove home from that lunch, I actually took a longer way, a back roadway. I wanted to be near nature, and strengthened this connection to the present moment. Driving in my car, all of suddenly my visual sensory became enhanced, like my auditory had color, the trees, this magical beauty became completely just revealed itself to me. It was breathtaking. And I got, again, the intuitive thought that I needed to be breathing this in. It was like the breath of life. I have no other way to describe it. Breathing in this awareness, this stream of consciousness that is running through all of us at all times. And it was like this surge of energy. And I wasn't doing anything other than not thinking and relaxing. And the more I focus on my breathing, keeping my mind clear when a thought would bubble up, even a thought of appreciation of the tree, of the color. Once you begin labeling things, it starts to disconnect you. So just the beingness of being there, being present. And for the first time, what I read in A New Earth truly made sense. It truly anchored inside of me of how to accomplish this. I know many of us that are going through this awakening process are overwhelmed with information on how to do it, what's right, what's wrong, the types of foods to eat, all of the rules, all of the labels. And I'm here today with a message to say it's so much more simple than we are making it. Dramatically more simple. As a matter of fact, the more you can avoid labeling yourself, the experience, people around you sharing the experience, the underpinning foundations of the experience, the more you're going to open yourself to the true magic of it. And that applies to everything. There's a relief, a weight that gets lifted when you let go of trying to figure it all out. It's just that simple. The path to enlightenment is not a mental process. It cannot be achieved through the mind. your mind can be used to manifest. It's a beautiful creative tool. But truly, the key that I am finding and that I want to pass on to you today is do not think beyond what you're doing in that exact moment. I mean, when you're driving your car, don't think of the location you're going to. If you've got a GPS, plug in your address and follow that line and don't think another thing about it. Keep your mind as clear and pure as possible, and you are going to know a freedom and an excitement you've never experienced before. It releases you from all past. There is no past. There is no future. There's only now. The fantasizing, the over-fantasizing about the future. Get off it. The universe knows your manifestations if you have put that out there. Now the key is to get into that feeling good, which can only be achieved through connection to the present moment, which you cannot do if you are thinking about what happened just a moment ago or what's gonna happen. You are gonna look around. When you start doing this, I promise you, you're gonna empty out. And you're going to be filled with a blissful peace that becomes the background for everything else. So when thoughts do come to you, here's the other beautiful thing. When thought does come, it's got this background of peace there that stabilizes, equalizes it. And that's what you draw from. So this is my message for you today. I hope it finds you well and enjoying your present moment. Namaste.